raise the expectations by singing. I would lower them. I am so impressed with Rasa, his good moments. And I hope you have a good moment in the next few minutes. But I'm also impressed, Rasa, you must watch a lot of television. If I were your boss, I'd be worried. And AJ, what a great set of ideas. How many today have gotten an idea that they think could be their moonshot? Raise your hand. Well, let's start over. Everybody raise their hand. How many have gotten an idea that could be their moonshot? Yes. My job at the end of this session is to give you some thoughts and ideas about how to make that happen. I love to talk, AJ, about your opportunity space, the shift, and where we're going. I don't have all the answers, but I hope that we can work through them to begin to see what unleashing human capability may mean. And so I'm going to give you my moonshot about where we as an HR profession are headed. By the way, I did a test. I asked somebody very smart, how many PowerPoint slides have you seen today? A smart person told me the true number. Anyone want to guess? How many PowerPoint slides have you seen today? Just yell out your number. 26? You've been asleep all day. How many PowerPoint slides have you seen? Hundreds. That's an analog answer. Try a digital answer. Her answer, hold on, I gotta write it down. 759. Woo! I have no clue if that's right or not. But how many are feeling a little bit overwhelmed with so many ideas? I went through the program 3 or 4 times, just overwhelmed with the content. My job in the next few minutes is to take what you've heard and try to put it into a place that you can go back and do something. So that moonshot is not just an aspiration, it's gonna happen because we play that role that AJ laid out. So I have one major idea and 3 actions. I hope that's simplicity on the other side of complexity. Here's my major idea. Now is the time. Ooh, who's been in HR the longest? Let me say that louder, because that person's probably old. Who's been in HR the longest? Anybody got more than 25 years? Oh, that's too easy. 30 years. Oh, stand up if you've been in HR more than, if you can. Stand up if you've been in HR more than 30 years. Stand up, stand up, stand up. I had a prize. A cow. She's not going to stand up. She's in, anyway. Do you see more or less attention to HR as a key to success? More. You know, 30 years ago, I've been in HR longer than all of you. We had to fight to get to the table. That's stupid. If you're asking how to get to the table, get the blank out of our function. We're at the table. We're there. The question is, what do we do that makes a difference? And now is the time. We've got to take that moonshot to take HR to the next step. And I'm going to lay out a little bit what that might look like as we try to get there. And then I'm going to give you 3 simple tips. Really simple. You can get a copy of these slides from Sigmar. They're happy to share them, and I'm happy to share them. Or get on, has anyone made a comment on any of my posts on LinkedIn? Has anyone made a comment? Did I respond? No? Okay, that was the wrong question. I'm on LinkedIn a lot. I'm using that as my focus group. So if you have comments or questions, get on and send me a question. And if I don't answer, send it again, because I'll respond. Okay. Why is now the time? Why is now the time for HR? What would you say?
I think there's lots of opportunity.
There's lots of opportunity. Why is there opportunity? Why is there so much opportunity today? What would you say? You know the answer. You've heard it all day. Anyone? I didn't hear. Pace of change. They've done studies. When the pace of change is high, which companies succeed? By the way, this is a really cool, hard study. Those that change. Woo! If you don't change as fast as the world around you changes, you're going to go broke. What's the key to change? People, organization. I did a talk last year with the top 100 executives of one of the high-tech companies. I won't name it. Have any of you ever felt like an imposter? You're over your head. So do I. I was so intimidated. They're all PhDs from science and math, and I thought, how do I in any way get their attention? I'm an English major. Let me speak clearly. That wouldn't work for them. So I decided to get their attention. What do these companies have in common? Digital equipment. Now, they were old. They knew what that was. Enron, Toys R Us, Sears, mostly US companies. Somebody yelled out, Eastman Kodak. They all went broke. And I yelled back, and I consulted for every one of them. And it took them a half a second to go, that guy's either got guts or he's really stupid. And I said, you've got 100,000 employees. I'm going to get you down to 10. Listen to me. Why? Those companies were great, and they did not change. The world changed. The world changed. They kept doing work the way they'd always done it. The logic is fairly simple, and I feel so bad. I haven't got good slides, but that's okay. The environment changed in green. The new assumptions had to come. We're seeing a new world. And if we don't adapt as fast as that world comes, we're gone. We call that outside in. So what does that mean in HR? For those who've been in HR a long time, I have a very, very simple picture. Does anybody remember when we were called personnel? Terms and conditions of work. Here's an insight. You've still got to do it. I was in a company a few years ago, and the HR people, about 100 of them, were saying, we're going to be strategic. We're going to help us do business around the world. We're going to make all the world change. The CEO came in, and he said, I have an experience I need to share. Oh, what is it? And he said, I just interviewed a new VP of marketing. We made an offer. It went from HR. You got a 0 wrong on the offer letter. So instead of 200,000, it was 2 million a year. And I got a call back from my candidate, and he said, thank you. I'm so excited to work at your company. And the CEO said, HR, you got to do the administrative stuff. You can't get around that. And there are systems and tools. Then we went to human resources, staffing, training, development, all the systems. Then we're calling it human capital. Manage our people. I'm going to move to a term called human capability. And I'll talk about what that means in a minute. Human capability is not what goes on inside the firm, but what goes on outside the firm. It's not what goes on inside the firm, but outside. Name something you heard in the last day that you say, that's a great idea. And if you're a speaker, this is a chance for you to really tell people how good your stuff was. Just let's name 3 things you heard in the last day that's a good idea. What was it?
I said it's lunch.
Lunch was the highlight. Well, that tells me where you're coming from. And HR delivered lunch. What was a good idea you heard in the last day? If somebody could, we're going to have a stream of ideas, so I get to hear them. So yell it out, and we'll pass it up. Chat GTP. Great idea. Scares you, but it's a great idea. What was that?
People first.
People first.
Lego stick and twist program.
The what?
Lego stick and twist.
Legos program. Great ideas. People first. Legos program. Chat. New technology. Let's call chat a form of technology. You know what? Those all focus inside the company. Where I would love to go is put behind each of those ideas so that. We want people first so that what? Customers win. Customers win. That's outside in. If customers don't win, there is no organization. We want to do Legos programs so that the children, the adults, those who use our service get it. We want to do chat, GPT, and other technology so that we succeed in the marketplace. That's the evolution of the yellow column, focusing outside. Okay, let me stop with my first point. Now is the time. You wouldn't be here if you didn't believe it. And Sigmar is doing such a great job. This is a time for us to make a difference. Okay, I'm going to get everybody. No, I'm going to do a poll in a minute. So given that, what do we have to do? for a moonshot? I'm going to give you a poll, and you need to give me an answer by raising your hand, so everybody's got to vote. What's the most important thing that an HR business leader can give an employee? 1, psychological safety. 2, a sense of belief. 3, become better. 4, belonging. 5, all the above. Or 6, none of the above. So on the count of 3, you got to vote. This is the way we do research at our school. 1, 2, 3, vote. 5, 5, 5, 5. Somebody's got both hands up. They're high-fiving themselves. That's really cool. You all vote 5, and you're wrong. What's the best thing we can give an employee? A company that succeeds in the marketplace. Let me say it again and again. This is my moonshot. The best thing we can give an employee is a company that succeeds. If my company doesn't succeed, Toys R Us, People Express, GE today, Sears, if you don't succeed in the marketplace, there is no workplace. People first. Nobody disagrees with that. But unless those people can create value for a customer, what's going to happen to those people? There's no job. There's no people first. Our job in HR is to change our assumption, which I really like, AJ, about your talk, to think outside what we've seen. We've looked at a bunch of firms who are doing great HR work, the advisory firms and others. They define the customer of HR as the employee. I challenge that. The customer of HR at Lego is the customer. The customer of HR at your company is the customer. If you're in the public sector, the customer of our services are the citizens, those who use the services we provide. Are we doing things inside the company that make that happen? That's my moonshot. And it doesn't have to just be customer. Let me give an example. Company in Southeast Asia, one of the big players in one of the companies, decided the leader was 85 and going to retire, and has to leave. Succession is inevitable. So he decides to build the next generation of leadership. How many here work in the leadership area? Super. How are you going to do this? He builds a leadership facility that is exceptional. 400 million US, 350 million euros. Unbelievable. Hire somebody. You're hired. You're the head of leadership development. I've just invested 400 million. And he says to this woman who's the head of leadership development, give me a return on investment. What did you say?
Oh my God.
Her comment was, oh, my consultant, help me. That wasn't exactly, but it was close. You said something else, which is close to consulting. That was actually funny if you heard it. She called and said, those who go through training 1,000 a year will improve their productivity 5.4%, and it will take us 960 years. I said, think differently. Use human capability. What's this company's market value? $15 billion. What if you increase their market value 4%? Now, if you're having trouble with math, this is going to be a really tough time for you. 4% of 15 billion is 600 million. Your job is to build leadership training so that the investors who put their money in your company have a 4% higher confidence in your future earnings. And you'll have a 50% return on the 400 million. And she said, wow. How many of you thought of that? You're going, Dave, that's so obvious. Why are you wasting my time? That is changing the game. That's moonshot. Then she said, how do I do that? I said, I have no clue. I have no clue, because nobody's done that. That's a moonshot. Actually, you can figure it out. What do? When you design training programs for leadership, bring the investors in. Have the investors say, what would give you 4% confidence in the quality of this company's earnings in the future? Investors design the program, teach the program, attend the program. Everything we do inside leadership is now designed for the investor 4%. Could that be fun? Our leaders? Yeah. And if you're really good in leadership, here's what you say to the CEO. I'll take 10% of the above earnings. And the CEO will look at you and go, yeah, right. That's an example, outside in. That's a moonshot. I come into this session and I get all excited. You have done so many great sessions as I look through what you've done. But I want you to think about those sessions not in terms of our people are our most important asset, but our customer's most important asset. Everything we talk about in the last day can be used to deliver customer, investor, and community value. So human capability, the things we do and that this incredible program is designed, will affect our HR people, it will affect our employees, our boards, our senior executives, our customers, our communities. When we build HR in the future, may it not be about HR. May it be about creating value for stakeholders. We teach this at Michigan. 2-week program. End of the 2 weeks, somebody said, oh, I'm so excited. I've got a plan to go do DEI. I've got a plan to change the culture. I've got a plan to do leadership, and I'm going to go share the plan. And I looked down and I said, we have failed you. When you walk into a business meeting, of course we believe in DEI. We believe in culture. We believe in leadership. Do not start there. Start with the stakeholder. What do investors need to see to give us a 4% premium in the quality of our leadership? Wow, that's a good question. And guess what? They need to see DEI. What do investors and customers need to see about our culture or that will get our customers to buy more from us? They need to see that our culture and values reflect their value. When we frame HR in terms of stakeholder value, our discussions move to a higher plane. Okay, that's my first point to make it happen. Get HR is not about HR. I love this concept. Let me tell you where I learned it. Some of you have heard this before. Who's been in a relationship with a partner for a number of years, over 20 years? What'd you get your partner for the last gift? A guitar. That's pretty cool, actually. That's classy. Who defined the value of the guitar? You, the giver, or your partner, the receiver? The receiver. When I was first married, I got my wife tickets to sporting events. And her comment was, enjoy yourself. Values defined by the receiver. In the HR space, value is not what we do, it's what the stakeholders get because of what we do. That's the value logic. That's the value logic. Okay. Point 2. You're at a table. There's a business meeting. You're going to go home in the next 72 hours or 96 hours. You're going to have a dialogue with a business leader. And the business leader says, what are you bringing to the table? What are you going to help me do that will deliver value to customers and investors? The HR field, it's almost all about people. Well, look at this list. Have you recognized any of those words? This was so fun. Retaining the right people with layoffs, new ways to learn through AI, adaptability, Gen Z, talent supply, employee intention, ESG, well-being. Where am I getting this list? If you don't notice it, this is the agenda today. High-touch leadership, CPO profile, intentional attraction, leading with heart, followership. Woo! How many of you have been a speaker? Raise your hand. Thank you. Congratulations. What have I missed? What was your topic that's not in, that's the little circle question box. What did I not get? None of the speakers are too shy because they think I'm going to make fun of them. I'm not. Who disagrees with anything on that list? It's phenomenal. What's the problem? It's not outside in, and I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. 700 slides. Let me tell you what I did at Sigmar's conference. I'm going to walk you through all 700 slides. Have a seat. What's your executive going to say? Don't go next year. That's a bad answer. Sorry, Robert. One of the challenges we face in this field is shiny objects, quick fixes, a lot of stuff. And none of those are shiny objects, but we're overwhelmed. Has anyone ever been at the Disney Star Wars ride? You get in a little car and you fly around Disney and all these stars are flashing at you. I think one of the keys to HR's Moonshot success is creating a taxonomy. I put that up there. My PhD decades ago was numerical classification. And I used to say, anyone that knows what that is should get a $100 bonus. I actually had it posted and it sold $11 worth, my first book. Taxonomy is the science of simplicity. Of all the things we could do, think about a menu at a restaurant and there's no order. Here's a drink, here's a dessert, here's a coffee, here's a main course. What you got in a restaurant is appetizers, salads, soups, main courses, desserts. Think about a library. You got types of books that organize the books that we've got. Think about a car. How many here like fast sports cars? Woohoo, what color? Blue. I'm impressed. Red would be better, but blue's okay. How many like trucks? What? Oh. By the way, the only hands up with trucks are the speakers. Therefore, if you want to be a speaker, buy a truck. Trucks, you got to topology, making an investment. You just won the lottery. You got 10 million euros. Where am I going to invest? You got a portfolio. Enrolling in classes, think about a university catalog. All of those things in our lives are ordered by taxonomy. The field of HR, or what I'm going to call human capability, does not yet have one. We jump from ideas that are all fantastic, but we don't have one. I'm going to give you one, and it's so simple. I love AJ. Where's AJ? I love your talk on simplicity. There's 3 things we in HR bring to our customers, to our boards, etc. One is talent, in red. Anything related to people. Hiring people, training people, paying people, employee diversity, communication. The other in blue is the organization. That's my fist. That's the system. You talked about people and culture. I love that combination. You've got people and you've got teams. The combination for me is leadership. In China, if you put your right hand over the left fist, that's a sign of respect. I respect you. I respect you. If you put your left hand over the right fist, that's a sign I want to fight you. So you got to be a little careful with that. And the forearms represent the HR services. So I'm going to help you remember the topology of human, that's talent, capability, that's organization. Raise your right hand. Everybody raise your right hand. That's your people. If there's somebody in your group you don't like, just put one down and say, oh, that person I don't care about anyway. That's people. Raise your fists. That's your organization, your team, your workplace, your culture. That's the combination. Your forearms represent HR, and then do the dance. Woo! Okay, some of you shouldn't change your day job. I make myself look really stupid there, but you know how powerful that is? You're going to leave this conference, you're going to have a meeting with your business team. What did you hear at the Sigmar conference that inspires you, that empowers you? What you heard is to create value for our strategy, for our customer, for our investor, we have to manage people, organization, leadership, and HR. And suddenly that list of stuff gets clear. In the talent area in this day, we talked about layoffs. We talked about ways to learn. We talked about Gen Z. We talked about employee intention. We talked about that. We talked about talent supply chain. And in blue, we talked about organization. In brown, we talked about leadership. And in purple, we talked a little bit about HR. I think that's pretty cool. I now can leave this session and say, for any agenda we have in the company, do we have the right people? Oh, let's do it again. People, talent, organization, fist. By the way, be careful, right hand. Somebody had their left hand up and we're going to end up in a fight. People, talent, organization. Put them together, that's leadership. Woo! Some of you are so dignified, you would not do the dance. I encourage you to go work in finance. Okay. That's my major message. And I'm going to skip through some slides here really quickly for sake of time. You've talked about these. You've talked about talent. What can we do to build talent? We've done our research, the talent tools. You've talked about organization today, culture and systems. We've talked about building a culture that will deliver the value to the customer. We've talked about leadership in Brown. You've talked about building the right leadership skills. And again, I could bore you with all that detail very simply. Point one, well, the world is changing. Got it. Point one, HR is not about HR. It's about creating value for all stakeholders. That's the moonshot. How do I do it? Number one, focus outside in. Who gains because of the work I do? Number two, through talent, organization, and leadership. And now number three, what does this mean for me in HR? What does this mean for me? Am I ready to play in this space? We've studied HR pretty aggressively. I don't want to bore you with that. We've written a lot of books nobody's read. We have a lot of research on this stuff. We identified 10 characteristics of a great HR function. How many of you sit at the top or near the top of your HR function? Small company, middle company? I encourage you to take those 10 and do a very simple assessment. What's our reputation? What are we in HR known for? Are we known for the policy police? Are we known for HR practices? Or what are we known for? Number two, who's our customer? I hope in HR your customer is not just the employee. Employee, yes, employee first even, but a customer equal. Number three, do we have a mission and purpose? Number four, are we structured right? That's where, Robert, the model I wrote in 1997, the Ulrich strategic model in HR roles, you know what? It's still there. We've got to have deep, how many are experts in something? Just a deep expertise, comp, benefits, training. Not very many? Okay, sorry. We need you. A number of years ago, I got called to a board of directors because I'm a professor of HR. They put me on the comp committee. Who's in compensation? Rewards? Are there a lot of details in that area? Oh, I went to one meeting and hired a consultant because I thought, I am so over my head. I don't know how glass, whatever crap is calculated, and you need to teach me. There's some deep expertise in OD, in learning, in staffing. And we need generalists who make it happen. And we need the administrative systems that pull it together. Number four, we got to build human capability. I won't make you do this again, but think about that human capability. Number five, we've got to do analytics. The movement in analytics is not best practice. What NASA did brilliantly works for you. Congratulations. It may not work for me. The key to analytics is what will help you. I have a friend. Good to have one. He's really into fitness. And he says, Dave, you need to lose weight. Thank you. Can you tell me more? You need to run 10K every day. How many have a friend who gives them a lot of advice? This could be your partner. I looked at him and I said, I am so glad that works for you. Let me just be honest, it doesn't work for me. When I have neuropathy in my legs, I can't run. It doesn't work, so stop telling me I should do what you do. Here's the question. Dave, what will work for you? Take what you've heard today and do guidance for you. Digital. Oh, digital is emerging. It's the reality. We know it. We've seen it. HR practices, innovations, and you've seen tons of those the last day. HR people, and then relationships. Now, why did I highlight two in green? We've done research. We have a lot of data. We like data. 1,000 companies. Which of those 10 drive stakeholder outcomes the most? Number 1 and number 10. If you want your HR department or function to be effective, it's not about number 4, the design. It's not about the roles, although I like your role statement. It's about the relationships and the reputation. Let me give an example. I've lived with that. How long have you been together with your partner? How long? 16 years. Ah, you're a newbie. How often have you and your partner, wife or just partner, how often do you and your partner sit down Sunday night and do RASI? We've all seen RASI, responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. And you got a grid sitting on the fridge. Shopping, laundry, cooking, paying bills, taking kids. Ooh, this week you're accountable. And I'm responsible. How often have you and your partner done that? Absolutely. The answer, if you were in the back of the room, not often. The answer is, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. If you leave this session and say to your partner, we're going to do a RASI, Sunday night I've got a grid, and we're going to fill it out. No, you don't. You got a relationship. I'm busy this week. I'm traveling. Guess what? My wife's doing laundry. She's cooking. She's managing the house. Next week, she's busy. You're going to be shocked. Next week, I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to shop. I'm going to cook some food and not run 10K. Build a relationship. Build a relationship and get your reputation right. Now, the last piece. What's in blue? Are we in HR able and ready to step up? How many have heard terms like, raise your hand if you've heard one of these terms, credible activist, change agent, employee champion, business partner. Whew. We have defined our role, using your role model in HR, as an adjective and a noun. Agent, partner, champion. In our latest research with about 28,000 people, we've changed the metaphor. For me to be a good HR person, it's a verb. Anybody study language? Anybody study English? Do we have any other? Verbs versus nouns. Which is more active? The verb. The verb. In fact, I give kids hints. If you're ever writing, give this to your kids will love you. Write an essay and change every to be verb, she is happy. Change is to an action verb. That's the key to a good essay. Verbs are action. In our research, 28,000 people, these are the 5 verbs that we in HR need to demonstrate. I can accelerate the business. I don't care where you work. You could be a technology person. I don't care where you work, in your office, in your home. Am I accelerating the business? By advancing human capability, the 4 things we talked about. By mobilizing information, by fostering collaboration and simplifying complexity. Now you say, that's a nice model. That's based on 28,000 data points. That's pretty powerful. And those 5 domains, and then you see all the sub-elements, drive success. So there's my message. I've heard a lot today. I want to leave this session inspired, empowered, not just with a set of ideas. For me, I want to unleash human capability. The headline, now is the time. Does anyone know where that comes from? Now is the time? You may not in Ireland. Where's it come from?
Shakespeare.
Who?
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare. Whoa. Okay. It comes from Shakespeare. And the person I learned it from, I didn't pass that English class. And there's a verb in there, is. In the United States, in the 60s, was a time of great revolt. There was a leader named Martin Luther King. You probably don't know him. You may have heard of him. He gave a talk in 1963. And he said, now is the time. That talk changed my life. Because that message of diversity, that message of respect is the time. I think now is the time for HR. It is the most critical opportunity we've ever seen. For the things we just raised, you've been in 30 years. The next 30 are going to be better for you. That was funny. We want to make a difference. How? Number 1, get in your head. HR is not about HR, it's creating value. The green action. How does HR create value for a customer, for an investor? You're going to go do a leadership training program and say, here's the return on intangibles. New ROI. Number 2, we're going to deliver human capability, talent, organization, and leadership. Stand up. Stand up. That was so cool. And I'm tempted to have AJ sing. Well, do it again. That was just so cool. Okay. No, don't pray. No, just do it again. It was. Oh. Woohoo! Can you come with me? That is so cool. I laugh at that. Be careful. Most HR people are very good at the talent. They're not as good at the organization, and they're not as good at leadership. And finally, we're going to upgrade HR. We're going to reinvent ourselves. We're going to build great departments with relationships, reputation, and we're going to have the verbs that make a difference. So my final exercise. What's the best year of your life? That's a funny question. What's the best year of your life? Somebody said, the year I left home from my parents. The year I graduated from college. The year I got married. I have a close friend who's now saying, the year I got divorced. The year I got promoted. No, 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 no. The best year of your life is the next 12 months. And the purpose of this kind of conference is to create that agenda, that moonshot, if you will. What's the next 12 months? The good moment. The good moment. Where's Raza? Is Raza here? I think Raza is one of the smartest people on earth. He left. I think we want to create that good moment. I'm optimistic. Now is the time for HR. And I would hope that the next 12 months are the best we've ever seen. Robert, thanks for letting us share this with you. Please, I said follow me on LinkedIn. You can get the slides, all that QR stuff. Ask me questions, and if I don't respond quickly, ask again. This is a marvelous time. I have never been more excited or proud of HR professionals. Thank you for what you do and for investing in yourself so that you can care for others.